Hello and welcome back to another episode for Project Seed Money. My name is Sharissa Bradley and I am joined today with author and industry professional Judy Mohr. Thank you so much for being with us and thank you for giving us a little bit of your time today.
Not a problem. And hi from New Zealand. Sorry for those of you. I'm on the other side of the planet, but hi.
And a whole day's different. I was looking at the time difference and we're not even on the same day or in the same season.
Yeah, there's a reason why my bios say time traveler because, it's just fun.
It really is true. So have you always wanted to be a writer?
No, actually, not as a child. As a child, I wanted to be more of an actor or a stage performer. I was like in choirs and musical theater. I grew up as a theater kid. I'm going to admit that I'm a theater kid growing up. But somewhere along the line, I just went, no, I just want to write stories. I don't necessarily want to be in front of doing the theater performance all the time. I hate makeup. Let's just go there. I hate makeup. And stage makeup is so not good for your skin. It really isn't. And maybe that was the driving force. Don't know.
It could have been that last straw, maybe. Was there a catalyst to start writing then? What got you writing?
So to start writing in the fiction realm, it was actually my sanity thing. So I have a PhD in astrophysics, and astrophysics and engineering is quite intensive. And it was, high computational mathematics. I was fighting on a daily day with computers, and I had this dream that was so vivid. And I went, oh my God, that's an awesome story. And I just kind of just started writing it down. And at the end, it became my escape, my way of shifting my brain to think about something else, because my brain does not stop. It drives my husband crazy because I am always on the go. Even when I'm going to bed, it's like constantly churning over. So I developed this strategy of shifting into fictional worlds just so I could actually sleep. And it kind of just grew and became this big obsession that went on for years while I was doing my first postdoc as well. And I just went, you know what? I'm going to see what happens. We're just going to go for it and see if we can get this published. And I have never looked back.
That is incredible. Incredible. I haven't heard a story like that before yet. So far on this podcast, the authors have said things like, oh, of course, I've always been an author. The stories have always come to me. To have it be an escape, to have it be kind of like this place that you could go that was different from the intensity of the real world. And then you shared it, you published it. So
yeah,
that's incredible. And then you did also publish in the nonfiction space. Was it different for you then when you were in that process of writing the fiction, the stories versus like the nonfiction?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, first of all, I had to untrain a lot of the things, like writing technical and science documents is a very specific, clinical, no contractions, sterile form of writing. I think it's designed to put you to sleep deliberately because I don't know about you, reading some of those scientific papers, reading textbooks. Oh my gosh, just reading a paragraph and I fell asleep. So I had to unlearn a lot of what I had learned as a PhD and researcher. And in terms of writing it into the nonfiction, it became just an extension of the way I talk instead of the way I was trained to write. And so anyone who picks up one of my nonfiction books or looks at my blog or looks at any of that, they'll see that's my voice. That is actually how I talk. And so there's going to be some educational points. There might be a bit of snark. There might be some occasional, yeah, oops, been there, done that, oopsie. There might be some of those sorts of things come through. And it's because that's me. That's who I am. The fiction, however, is so much more fun in some respects because I'm going into characters and I'm going into their head. I'm escaping from me. It's not me, it's somebody else, but I'm pretending to be them. So it's kind of bringing in the acting again that I was as a child. So it's just having fun. And that's
Yes,
really,
that's so fascinating how the worlds collided. It's so fascinating. And how amazing that your brain works in the way to make stories and the speaking or the nonfiction part of your, that human side of you as an, it seems like as an educator, maybe, right? In that spectrum.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's so cool. So did you, when you were publishing, when you were actually going through that process of like getting the book into the world, did you face any vulnerability or self-doubt?
100% of the time. Oh my gosh. Yes. In terms of getting the nonfiction out there, it was, am I really an expert here? Do I really have a right to actually say this stuff? Because my nonfiction is educational. It's more of, hey guys, I'm sharing my experience, I'm sharing my knowledge. And it took me a lot of pushing from my writing cohorts and my writing friends to say, you're an expert, you know what you're doing, get it out there. And so that's where the insecurities were for the nonfiction. But for the fiction, even now, I'm still having some doubts about it out there going, are people going to like it? You know, is this really the right thing? Am I portraying the right message? Am I even marketing it and saying it is the story? Is the marketing material matching what the story really is? And you do feel insecurities. But like last night, I'm doing pole dancing. So I went to my pole dancing class, and one of my instructors, she's like, I'm halfway through. Oh my God, it's so good. I'm halfway through. And it's like, that is validating. It is such a validation. And when you see those reactions on people, it's like, yeah, cool. I did write a story that people like. Yay.
But in order to get to that point, in order to get to the place where someone is validating you, you first had to go ahead and cross that fear boundary of just like, I am scared and I still have to do it. And you kind of answered my question a little bit by saying like you had a group and these people were encouraging you. But was there anything else that kind of gave you the bravery or gave you that courage because you still did it? You still crossed the finish line, even with the fear.
It really is the support network. And it's the support network that you build. And it's not going to be just your family and friends. This was a hard lesson I had to learn, a very, very hard lesson. My family specifically, and I'm talking about my husband, didn't get it, did not get it, because my writing actually has become an obsession. I cannot, it's like a drug that no offense, I don't want to stop taking it. I love writing because I love escaping from my world. It's how I process what's going on around me. There are so many different ways of how I see it, and I need to do it. If I don't do it, I get really antsy. And my husband didn't get it. And it actually led to a lot of fights in the beginning. But I had my friends that were supporting and going, no, you know what you're doing. This is good. You need to keep coming. He'll eventually get there. It's just going to take him some time. He'll get there. And now he's there. Now he is like totally seeing what I created. He actually read my novel before it came out, and he's like, wow, this is good. So, and it's like, yay, finally, you get it. Yeah. Fantastic.
Oh, but that's such blind faith, and that takes so much courage. And I just want to speak to that because when you're experiencing not all the support during the time that is the most isolating, which is writing the book, that can feel so challenging. That can feel so challenging. And so the fact that you did it and the fact that you faced it and the fact that you got to the finish line, great that he came along eventually. But still, there is that challenging, messy middle, and that deserves to be validated as well. That's amazing.
That's why I think the networking in and connecting with other writers is so vital, because or other creatives, maybe, writers may be connecting to other artists or songwriters or anyone else who's doing a creative art, maybe even a dancer, connecting with other dancers, because they get the same negative treatment from the community as a whole. They're the only ones who understand the obsession and the roller coaster. It's an emotional roller coaster. Up, down, up, down.
And the days that we're expected to feel the best as an author are like the most challenging. Like in my opinion, like publication day should be like so good, but it's like so scary. Every author, like they're like vulnerable, like everything's out in the world now. Like it's not all feeling the best all the time.
It's not just that. I mean, for me, publication day is kind of a non-event. It really is, because we do so much hard work to get to that point.
Yes.
And by the time we get to that point, it's kind of on automatic.
Yeah.
There's really nothing we can do except maybe share photos that somebody else has sent us. And it's like, well, that's nice. And by that time as well, I mean, for me, Dancing in the Purple Rain was in the systems 3 months before publication. It was actually already loaded. There was nothing for me to do. It was on automatic. And I was already on to the next project. It's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Everyone's going, you must be so excited it's out there. And I'm like, I was more excited to actually get my author copies in my hand, because that was a drama.
Yeah.
But the actual publication, whatever. It was a non-event. And it sounds so weird.
Much to do before, and there is so much to do after, like marketing, getting yourself out there. But that, you're right, that actual time is kind of like, well, it's done, I guess.
It's done.
Okay, after you, I know that you do also offer services to authors. Is that something that you started before you had published, after you published? When did you start offering services?
I started offering the services to authors long before I published my first fiction. Part of the reason for that was because back in the day, I've been in business now for 10 years. So I've been in business for a very long time. And I've only just published my first novel. There goes saying something. Basically, what happened is I was determined to head down the traditional publication road. And of course, that has a lot of gatekeeping along the way. And some of it is quite negative, and there's not a lot you can do. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. But I kept refining my skills and refining my skills. And I started noticing that I was critiquing other people's work, giving them feedback, and I was getting nothing in return. Not even a thank you. It was like really irritating, actually. And I was just like, hang on, I actually can do this. And so I decided to retrain as the editor. And that's kind of how it started. It was just, I need to get in some money to help support my habit so my husband doesn't feel icky about supporting my writing habit, which is one of the reasons why he finally came on board, because he saw all the efforts. And he was like, and these money coming in. He's like, oh, okay. And being a Dutchman, I'm sorry, the Dutch are obsessed with money. They really are.
That's good to know. So then what services exactly do you provide to authors, and how do you balance your own writing career with being able to offer that services?
So I am what they call a developmental editor and a writing coach. So I'm at the earlier stages of the writing process, where if the manuscript is quite raw, but you're like learning your craft or doing those sorts of things, I'm the one that will go in and help you refine your voice and actually learn how things like show versus tell doesn't work, and how to actually get the pacing. And I'm the one, a lot of my repeat clients, they keep coming to me because I'm apparently very good at story structure, that I can take a story that they know kind of what they want to happen, but they can't figure out how to piece it all together. And I'm just like, well, do this, and piecing that puzzle together and in a coherent, that's where I excel, is really in that spot. I also help writers understand this internet era that we're in, because a lot of the writers that I encounter both in my in-person travels and on the internet travels, were older. We're talking, some of them are getting 50s, 60s, and maybe even 70s. And so the internet is not something they're used to. And oh my God, there are so many scams out there. It's quite scary. So I help them understand what they need to do as a minimum so it doesn't go and consume your life, but at the same time navigate it safely. And that's my biggest thing, is being safe online. So important. In terms of how I balance it with my writing, well, I've actually am able to hold like 5 or 6 stories in my head all at the same time. It's really weird. I know some editors, they can't. They can only work on one story or one piece at a time. They can't separate. But I have no problem holding the number of stories I have in my head. And I think that goes back to the days of when I was doing writing as my escape while at the same time doing this scientific research. Because you had to compartmentalize your brain. So that way, some scientific principles that you have in sci-fi, they just kind of don't exist. And you can't kind of use that idea that you had in that fiction novel to actually solve your problem.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you work with both fiction and nonfiction books, or do you prefer to just do the stories?
I prefer to work with fiction writers. Memoir is something that's not me. If someone inquires about memoir, I will pass them on to somebody else. And I have a couple of names that I do recommend to writers, depending on who they are. In terms of the nonfiction space, again, it kind of depends on what it is. If you're dealing with something like the holistic or that kind of inspirational type thing, yeah, no, that's not me. I am too fantasy to want to go that way. But dare I say it, if somebody has something filled with toilet humor, bring it my way. I'm going to happily take it. My husband works at the wastewater treatment plant, so there's toilet humor in this house on a regular basis. So just saying.
So it's content specific, but preferably in the fiction space.
Yeah.
That's actually such a green flag to me, because when we niche down and we say like, this is the thing that I prefer and this is the thing that I like, I'm so much more inclined to go with someone like that, because they do know that area and they do know that niche and they are going to work with me specifically. And I love that you said you'd find someone else for them, help them, pass them to the next person, because if it isn't what you're wanting to do, that exact niche, like, the communication isn't going to be right. The relationship isn't going to be right. So find the person that's right for you. And I love that you have like a specific niche that you're into.
Yeah.
Can you please tell my audience where we'll be able to find you in our directory, the Project Seed Money directory, but can you also tell them where to find you, like your website, your books, where they can find you online?
Everything about how to find me online is on my website at judylmohr.com. Really easy to find website. And dare I say it, all my socials have the same handle, Judy Mohr. It's one of the things that, when you're dealing with the internet and working with platforms, that consistency of name, it really does help.
That's such a good tip. Is there anything that you can say to inspire my audience who are female authors and maybe they're sitting on the fence and they have the story in their mind, but they're having a hard time just getting to that next step or even facing their fears? Is there anything you can say to just kind of help inspire them?
So the biggest advice that I have for new writers is actually learn to say no. It sounds so weird. Most people will say, don't give up, which, yes, don't give up, keep going, keep doing everything, but actually learn how to say no. And for those who are just writing, one of the things that will frequently happen is they'll see you, your family and friends. This is both groups of people that do it because they don't get it. They don't understand. And they'll see you writing or working, and they'll want to infringe on your very precious time. And you have to say, no, this is my time. I will spend some other time with you. And of course, follow through with that, especially if they're your kids. But If you show that respect for your own time, they will start to show that respect. They will start to actually understand. And I see that as a freelancer as well. Just because I happen to work at home does not give people permission to just show up on my front doorstep and say, hey, entertain me, have coffee. No, I'm actually working. And there are other things as well to say that you need to say no as you get further on. For anyone who's heading down that, say, the traditional path, you may get so disheartened by the path, or even in the self-publishing space. There are so many things, and you may feel so disheartened by it, but you cannot keep saying yes to all these scams. Or for that matter, like a contract. Don't necessarily accept the first publishing contract that comes your way, because there might be a clause in it that if you sign it, you've signed your rights away and you may never get your book back. So you have to learn to say no and be confident enough to do that. Same with an editor. You're working with an editor has an idea. Well, it's just a suggestion. You don't have to do it. And a lot of us will have been trained to say yes to everything. It's something, children, you look at a child, look at a young child. If they don't want to do something, they are not going to do it. It is so difficult to get them to do it. But somewhere along the line, we were taught that saying no is rude, inconsiderate, and you shouldn't do it. So we're now, as a society of adults, people pleasers. And we say yes to everything to our detriment. And so, learn to say no. It is such a hard thing to do. And for a lot of us, it goes against our nature. But a friend of mine, she's actually got a very good phrase that she does. So because some people you say no to them and they keep coming back and they say, well, this, oh, surely you can do this. Surely they will not take no as an answer. And her response is, I'm exercising my right to say no. I was like, yes, that's a good line. I like it.
That is such powerful, powerful advice. Thank you so much. And thank you for giving us some of your time today. That was incredible. We got so many nuggets and such good tips. Like, just say no. I absolutely love that. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you so much for joining me on another episode for Project Seed Money. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And I will see you with another interview next week. Bye.